Released in 1996, Resident Evil is a survival horror video game developed and published by Capcom. Whilst by no means the originator of the formula, Resident Evil is a series that both popularised and coined the genre's title. For this video I'll be playing it on PC with a fan patch. Why PC? It's just a curiosity. For the playthrough I should be playing as Chris. I've only ever played through the original Resident Evil once, and even then that was only the director's cut, and that was as Jill, so I'm interested to see how this will go. One of the upsides of the PC version is that it also comes with the uncensored version of the cutscenes, so we'll get to see those too. Isn't that lovely? We begin in a helicopter making its way across the Arclay Mountains. STAR's Alpha team are aboard and searching for the missing Bravo team. We get a brief summary of the ongoings in Raccoon City. Odd sightings, murder, big nibbles. It's a sad state of affairs. They catch sight of a pillar of smoke and investigate. They find the helicopter, which is conveniently off screen. It's empty. They then proceed to search the immediate area, and Joseph finds a prop. Shocked that he can finally see the whole prop, he fails to notice the native rubber woofers that charge and attack. He finally notices them and shoots into the distant trees. I jest, but this is accurate to the gameplay. He lands a few, but is not enough, and oh no, he's being nibbled! The rest of the team run and defy accurate game representation by shooting at the same time. I appreciated the commitment, Joseph. Jill stops and...
Joseph!
Worth it, Jill. Worth it. Brad buggers off.
No! Don't go!
Oh no, the autopilot's kicked in. I can't stop it, Chris. Oh no, I will come back if I can. Take care. They resume legging it. Spot a distant house and enter it. And now for the cast introduction. You heard me. We have the Master of Unlocking, the Master of the Universe to be, the Master of this, the Master of Saturation, and finally, Shinji Mikami's Spite Baby.
Resident Evil.
The cast introduction is less a tonal clash, more a tonal car crash. Seriously, the main body of the intro is going for a slow, gory and terrifying feel. God, that dye job. Whereas the cast segment can be surmised more with a fist pump. The game plays much like the intro, in terms of tonal dissonance. In gameplay, you have a slow, quiet and tense experience, each door bringing with it uncertainty and an unease as to what awaits. Sometimes it's simply an empty room, sometimes it's a room filled with horrors, sometimes it's the reassuring common notes of the safe room theme. Sometimes it's...
Chris, this house is too dangerous. There are terrible demons. Out!
And now you're not so much scared as you are perplexed. And that is Resident Evil. We pick up inside the mansion. Only Jill, Wesker and Chris remain. Barry has gone missing. A gunshot rings out, and Chris is sent to investigate. Okay, a little side note, I'm not sure why everyone is on a sugar rush during cutscenes. I checked and the game is only running on one CPU core, but even if it was that, surely the whole game would be running fast, so I don't know, I don't bloody know. Thankfully cutscene progression is based on the audio files, not the animations, so they're only a little bit of a mess. So we get violent and frantic gesticulation followed by their sped up idle animation, like they've suddenly crashed from the high and are jonesing for another. We come across an iconic nibbler. Wait, what? Before starting this, my knowledge of the cutscene censoring in Resident Evil extended solely to the intro, so this is a surprise to say the least. This is also the only other cutscene that was changed, so it's business as usual from here on. We leg it back to the main hall and find no one. All that remains is Jill's pistol. And now the game begins. Wait, a gun? I'll save you, Kenneth! Oh wait, he's dead. I'll avenge you, Kenneth! Always remember, 5 in chest, time to rest. Driven red, feckin' dead. Kenneth, I did. Oh, right, dead. Compatriots avenged. It's time to explore the mansion, where we find locked doors, art. Ah, mate, she's holding the viz. Clear some hallways and find our first save room. It's here we can find respite, start out our inventory in the cuboid of infinity, and save our game. For the time being, we pick up the bag of no brand chemicals and clean up the old inventory with the item box. A vital element of this style of Resident Evil, it's a lovely magical box that not only comes with infinite space, but is also connected to every other box. They're utter nonsense. I love them. They really help smooth out the inventory management. You hear that, Resident Evil 0? Do you hear that? Huh? Screw you, there's no room, it's a goddamn mansion hall! If I were to shorthandly describe Resident Evil's atmosphere, it would be tense. There are numerous contributing factors. In fact, almost every aspect of the game. First, the presentation. You have fixed camera angles to set the mood. Then you have the music, which can enhance the atmosphere. But also relax it. Hell, even low screens. Each door is presented in a void, slowly open with a degree of hesitance. Your mind begins to ponder what could be on the other side. Then the game systems, the controls. You move slow and you fight in a statuesque manner. Through limited movement capabilities, there's an ever-ratcheting sense of tension, as the possibility of being overwhelmed is never too far off. Then you have limited everything, be it ammo, healing items, or even the space to house them. You feel a need to make it all count. You can't be frivolous. The save system. Not only do you have to save in specific locations, they're few, far apart, and require a limited resource. It all comes together and it's really kind of amazing. But like I said, almost every aspect.
There are terrible demons out.
Richard.
You can't escape it. I'm under attack! Set! Oh, hey Rebecca. They introduce themselves to each other. Even though in Resident Evil 2 they work in the same office. Two games for the story to start falling apart.
But it's strange. I serviced the helicopter recently, but something went wrong with the engine. It was such a short flight.
Do you know what a medic is? We can get the ability to open new paths and go on our way.
Well, what should I do now? If you go out to search for the other members, how about letting me come with you?
Sure, why not?
All right, let's do it.
Yes, sir. I'll do my best. I have to prepare something. Would you like to go ahead?
Why do I bother? Wait, did I forget something? Oh yeah. Chemical. You won't get me. No. Curse you, small furnishings. Let's see, I need to kill the plants and make room for the herbs. Okay, clear out the inventory. Let's go! Wait. Ah, fuck! Back and die! With 2 keys in hand, it's time to go on a key run. A key run, is what I call it anyway, is where you take the bare minimum plus your keys and run around to unlock every door possible so that you can get rid of those pesky keys. It seems like a good time to talk about the moment-to-moment gameplay. Resident Evil is, at its heart, a light adventure game. You explore, find objects, use said objects, which open something else, which contains an area progressing item. You solve some puzzles, mainly by pushing things, though sometimes pushing things in service of grabbing things. There are instances of slightly more thoughtful puzzles. Here for instance, in this gallery you find paintings showing the stages of a person's life. Under each painting, a button. The puzzle clue is found at the beginning of the room. You must then examine each painting to figure out the correct order, but with an ever-looming threat residing above, that creates a tense and slightly claustrophobic atmosphere. Sometimes your reward, sometimes found through happenstance. Keys are the other intrinsic piece of the formula. Find a key, and now you're on a journey to open up the relevant doors. This leads to you learning not only the layout of the mansion, but different routes and the enemy placement, as you slowly open up the entirety of the mansion. During all of this you'll find resources, notes, and journal entries. Okay, so as you're watching this, if you are not familiar, you may be going, yeah, he walks funny, he do. So I'll explain that a little. You see, you make your way through the mansion with an early form of 3D movement, known as tank controls. Tank controls are simple. You press up, you walk forward, you press down, you walk back, left, you rotate left, and right, you rotate right. Personally, I never had any problem with tank controls. Once I figured out that movement direction is tied to the player and not the camera, there was never any confusion. As they are in this game, they are a bit rough. Rotating feels a tad too slow, and the lack of a 180-degree turn hurts. These problems would all be sorted out over the course of the series, but as of right now, they're just about serviceable. There will be a point where the roughness of these particular tank controls will come into play, so look forward to that. Ominous. Suspicious. Ah, Jesus! During the key run, we acquired a flashy shotgun and performed the owl switcheroo. I'll make good use of you. In you go. Sure, this seems like a sensible thing to do at this time. Oh, he's giving it a go anyway. Just stop, Chris.
It's me, Chris.
Is that you, Rebecca?
I'm starting to think Chris isn't very bright. What? Why? Why are we doing this? We are trapped in a mansion with zombies, zombie dogs, and God knows what else, and we are just going to stay here and practice Moonlight Bloody Sonata for no reason that would prove at all useful to us getting out of here. Sure, go for it. So whilst Rebecca practices for her recital, there's not much to do but wait. So, how's the whole dead thing going? What? Well, screw you too! Rebecca! Lovely. What are the odds? In this bloody universe. Good. After another game of switcheroo, we get another key. And there's only one place to go. The attic. It's here where we find this bugger, a big bloody snake called Yawn. He can be intimidating, but you don't need to fight him. Just grab a crest at the back of the room, and as long as we don't get bit, it'll all be crap.
Chris!
It's now up to Rebecca to save Chris. A rare occurrence in that we've not only been given an explicit goal, but we're also timed, so it's time to plan a route. In what is my opinion a rather understated aspect of this Resident Evil formula, solid route planning can make all the difference. It's here where the level design, enemy placement and inventory management all come together. In this instance, only the first two apply. We have two means of approach. The upstairs path, which is second floor main hall, dining room balcony, second floor west wing, go downstairs, and we're there. The downstairs path, which is second floor main hall, go downstairs, dining room, a brief moment in a hall, upper west wing, upper left west wing, which takes us to the safe room. The first path has 3 zombies, with only one being a potential problem. The second path has 5, with 3 close calls if you've forgotten their placement. So, upstairs it is. In a situation where inventory comes under consideration, it's a matter of taking the bare minimum, so that you can have the space for progress granted items or simply resources. The more you can grab in one run, the better. And the safer your route, the more risky you can be with your loadout. If your route is relatively safe and the sole unknown is a single room, then you needn't bring much more than a fully loaded pistol. Do not underestimate the effectiveness of a fully loaded pistol. If you couldn't tell, I love this aspect of classic Resident Evil. With the serum procured and applied, progress resumes as we gallop our crests and head for the plinth thingy. Acquire a crank, elude some dastardly dogs, crank it, and clear the way. It's a straight shot to our destination, often in the blue. Oh dear. Ah! Damn it! Damn it! Get in! Here we are at the guardhouse. The guardhouse is considerably smaller than the mansion, offering just a few halls, locked doors, and rooms to explore. It's also where we'll find the most ineffective enemy type in classic Resident Evil. Don't you spout at me, sir. Seriously, they're bloody useless. Things proceed as usual. Explore, find locked doors, open doors, simple puzzles, a cursed laid out puzzle, keys for locked doors, participate in combat with masterful ability. Books of nothing, books of something. V-Jolt, eh? Barely secret passages that contain the search results on how to make puzzle in 3D game. A search that Revolution Software will go on to make for Broken Sword Sleeping Dragon. Killer sharks, killing sharks, really kill that shark. Dick. Ooh, what have we here? I should take a closer look. You want me to move over there? Alright. Oh no, I've been fooled.
Take this file with you. Use the information in it in order to make the potion.
Potion? Potion. Chris, it's not a bloody potion, that's... Wait a second. A liquid with healing, magical, or poisonous properties. Alright then, carry on. We resume play as Rebecca, do some simple mathematics and go on a lovely jaunt. Done and done. Wonder how Chris is doing. It's a boss fight, which means I'll have to actually engage in something that resembles combat. So let's talk about it. A simple affair as you may expect, you aim and shoot. You can rotate your aim with left and right, aim up and down with, up and down. The first release of Resident Evil was a bit of a mess. In the Japanese release there was an auto aim. Self-explanatory, you aim and your aim snaps to an enemy. This was removed in the Western release, and I don't know why. If you wish to play with auto aim, then you'll need either the original Japanese release, or you need to play the director's cut of Resident Evil 1. However, in saying that, the fan patch that I'm using seems to have added an auto aim. So that's nice. The lack of an auto aim is fine. Zombies are slow, so it works out. Other things, less so. We'll get to that. With the final mansion key in hand, it's time to head back.
I can't believe it. Are you okay?
Yeah, so much for him. We got to the root of the problem.
Chris, words cannot begin to describe the ferocity, the viciousness, the unparalleled feelings of contempt that I currently hold towards you. Just, I thought you should know.
Most of these medicines are from Umbrella.
What's Umbrella?
Look. I'm sorry. Alright, this is the first game in the series, so, the story, well, all there is still being formed. But with the knowledge of future games, the size of Umbrella, how prominent they are in Raccoon City, along with Chris working at the RPD and in all likelihood living in Raccoon City, The game decides to remind us that yes, there is supposed to be some story going on. As we meet up with Old Whiskey.
Chris, there are a lot of locked rooms in that house. Check them out one more time.
Don't tell me to do what I'm already doing. Rebecca gave us a radio, and it's beeping.
This is Brad. I know you can't answer me.
This is Chris. Brad, can you hear me?
I hit him. I really hit him. We make our way back to the mansion, but then... Yes, a new enemy. Not only that, the most formidable type in the game. The mansion has now been littered by these diabolic monstrosities. Now I will talk about them in proper in a second, along with the other enemies of the game, but the game has made a big show of the hunters, and they were right to. This is what I was referring to earlier. The hunters are not only fast, they're almost too fast. They're skittish, jumpy arseholes that can easily end up behind you. Without either the auto aim or the 180-degree turn of the feature games, hunters can be infuriating. I had auto aim. They still suck. Really hard. And they hurt you. A lot. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about all the enemies of So, the save system. Notorious seems a tad too strong, but you get the idea. To save in Resident Evil, you must not only find a save point, in the form of typewriters, but you must also be in possession of ink ribbons, a finite resource. The result of this is a need to make your save count. No, oh I cleared this room, better save. This leads to you having to take more chances, knowing that you have to make some meaningful progress before saving, which in turn will take you to unknown territory. This creates tension, which creates hesitation, which creates fear. It's not for everyone, I know. There may be times where you find a boss, do some puzzles, fight the boss, run a decent distance, clear out some rooms, and then just, get decapitated, forcing you to pick up the last save and do it all again. Stick it up your arse. Let's see, back at the guardhouse, need to open the bookcase, go to P42, nice with Rebecca, fight P42, want to kill Chris, piss off Wesker, want to kill Chris, they get back to the mansion, and we're practically there. Right, let's go. Forgot the feckin' book. Ah, right, enemies. Let's have a look at the enemies of Resident Evil 1. Just the enemies, not the bosses. We have zombies, zombie dogs, hunters, and the Chimera. Now you may be saying, Arebuckle, you blind bollocks. What about them there crows, spiders, hornets, and all that? And to that I say, yes, those are things that exist in the game. However, I personally wouldn't consider them enemies. The spiders exist more as a mental threat, depending on how comfortable you are with spiders in general. You practically have to go out of your way to be hurt by them. The hornets are content to just waft around the room in a menacing fashion. I mean, yeah, if you stick around long enough, they'll hurt you, but so would a radiator. And I wouldn't consider those to be antagonistic force either. So how are our foes? Zombies are zombies. They're slow, unresponsive, until you sink upwards of 5 bullets into them. And in tight spaces, they are an ever-encroaching, decaying wall. They come in 3 varieties: Earthly Zombie, Professor Zombie, and Zombie in the Nip. Zombie dogs are a bugger. Fast, hard-hitting, and intimidating. They can be tricky to deal with at first if you're new to the style of Resident Evil, as instinctively you'll try aiming down to shoot them. Don't do that. Aim as you would for everything else. Yes, we're operating on original Doom logic here. The Hunter, God King Bastard Supreme. The main enemy type that's not to be trifled with. They're quick, almost too quick for the controls, even with auto aim. They jump, and they will end you. It's the Hunter that re-establishes the tension of exploring the mansion. Without them, it would be business as usual. They are critical to making the latter half of this game work. And finally, the Chimera. Actually, I was considering rolling them in with the spiders and such, but unlike the spiders, they got ahead on. They're weird insect buggers, but I mean, they're not really that notable. You know what, forget I mentioned them. If all you saw was the list of enemy types, you would think there weren't enough. That couldn't be further from the truth. Whilst there are really only 3 types, each has its own unique role to play, and since combat isn't the focus of the game, they never get played out. Ah, crap. Leg it! Okay, I think I need to get into the hole. Get into the hole, Chris. Chris, get into the hole. Damn it, Chris! That... Ah, the hell of it, just kill me. Wait. Did I save? Ah, balls. Do you remember me? Do you? You wouldn't, because our fight technically never happened. Yeah. Oh, there's another. Ah! This isn't going well. We go about the mansion to use up that key. Get pestered at every turn. Find another jewel. I am starting to think things aren't on the up and up. Use another jewel, and get rewarded with a magnum. Bloody save. It's time to deal with Yai. I forgot to heal beforehand. Yawn, dealt with, save, mid. Down the hole we go, to a weird series of hallways, which leads to a kitchen. Okay. Ah no, what now? Stay away from me. Stay away! Oh, it's just a zombie. With the elevator in the kitchen, we now have access to the remainder of the West Wing, where zombies, a note, a Mo disc, and a battery is all found. Yes, Chris, this is what can be used for that elevator, that we never looked at, so you shouldn't know this. It's always a good sign in your game's design when you have to explicitly tell the player what to do in plain text. This is also the only time this will happen, so there must have been a few fair lost testers. Well, the elevator leads back to the dogs. Curious? With a new path open, we crank it once again. Head down the new elevator and find a previously hidden ladder, which leads to an area that I always forget exists. The cave. Why'd I forget it? Well, it's no mansion, or even guardhouse. You know, I never really talked about the location, so let's do that. The mansion is a labyrinth of sorts, through the winding paths of its architecture and the out-of-place puzzles. Aesthetically, it ranges from grandpa, ma, to pa-ma, past modern. It's an odd mix, but it gives the mansion a unique identity. Contrast this to the guardhouse. It's a plain building, straightforward in both aesthetic and layout. There's a single locked door, and it's locked not by a badger's arse key, but a dorm key. It's mundane. The cave area is the most straightforward. It's the shortest area and is essentially 2 linear paths, both of which are found upon entry. It's also quite ugly. There were times where I simply could not make out what I was looking at. Like here. What the hell's this? It's an elevator. Oh, it's just a wall. Wait. No, it's not. There is one more location ahead, but suffice to say, it has more in line with the guardhouse. But you'll see it when we get there.
Double crosser!
He's not a double crosser. Just an idiot.
Don't!
See?
Hell. Umbrella.
Nah, mate, that was a gun.
Is someone there?
I give up. On one hand, I died. On the other, that's a cool angle. And now, to get the battery again. Battery! Moo! That's it, I'm bloody saving it. I'm not doing this damn run again. We finally make progress in the cave. Find a suspicious flamethrower, among other things. Money, 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 money! Don't crouch into it, you tit! And fight an even bigger spider, who's practically as useless as the rest. Some cranking, a bothersome boulder, and a pushy puzzle litter. A seemingly upstanding, fawn, lame fountain conceals the source of the dastardly dealings of Umbrella. A secret laboratory, wherein we find Professor Zombie, nutty zombies. I know you're there. Come out with only your hands up. Out of place artwork and puzzles. Why would the mansion's design goals find their way to the secret lab? More evidence that Chris is a tit. Notes. Consultant researchers E. Smith, S. Ross, and A. Wesker. Wait. Weirdly non-specific on the last one. No discs, no keys, photos. That one's been photoshopped in. Look at him. Scale's all wrong. And more box pushing. Oh yeah, Jill's here too, I guess.
Chris, Wesker, he is.
I know.
Wait, Wesker's behind it? This came out of nowhere. With the plots, twists and turns unfurling, it seems like the time to look at the story. The story of Resident Evil is a simple and barren one. It does what it has to. It's really just a selection of premise justifying excuses. Hey, we want to make a zombie mansion game. Sure, why are the zombies? I don't know. Science? Fair enough. Wait, are the zombies only in the mansion? Wouldn't they have spread? Mansion is out in the mountains. They did the research there and things happened. If it's in the mountains, then how did the player get there? Were they already in the mansion? I don't know. Maybe it's... Is there combat? Guns? And I suppose, how about cops investigating the mansion? So then there would be no backup. Yeah, that'll work. And their main goal is to escape and maybe uncover the research and bring down the ones responsible as the cop trader. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right. And that, my friends, is how the story of Resident Evil was written. Why did the zombies have sick corner traps? Alright, it's time to deal with old whiskey and put an end to this farce. Rebecca comes out of nowhere and joins us as we make our way deeper into the lab. Wesker!
I would never work for a company like Umbrella. And Wesker, you were formerly with Umbrella.
What do you mean?
Since when have you been an Umbrella agent? And a traitor to the stars?
Now you're wrong. I was formerly with Umbrella, yes. But now I'm prepared to face anything. even getting rid of you vigilante stars.
Webster's Dictionary, and that I mean Google, defines vigilante as a member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority, typically because legal agencies are thought to be inadequate. Stars are an official division of the Raccoon City Police Department. Oh there! You misspoke! Happens to everyone! Calm your fucking tits! Wesker leads us to a big naked man with no willy.
This is the ultimate life form. Tyrant. Chris? Stop it.
What was that? Are you gonna cry, Wesker? What do you mean man's laughing at me, willingless monster? The hell is this? In a huff, Wesker releases the tyrant. Wesker releases the tyrant. Wesker releases the Game, don't do this to me. Game? Oh, thank God. The tyrant is finally free, and Wesker gets royally buggered. But don't worry, this is all intentional. Yes, all according to Keikaku. Keikaku means retcon. We fight. He falls. We leg it. Rebecca! She's fine, everyone.
How about Captain Wesker?
He is sleeping with the ultimate failure.
Ah, hurt my fucking hand.
I saw a research file in this lab. It said that a great deal of research on the tyrant virus exists right here. We should blow this place up.
Yeah! Let's destroy all incriminating evidence. Stars, 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 stars.
I'll set off a triggering system for a bomb.
Are you actually a manic? First you're servicing helicopters, now you're making bombs. What are you? Well, she's doing that, I guess. Meanwhile, we get Joe and head for the helipad.
This is Brad. I have a fuel shortage. Okay, this is the last try. If somebody's alive, please, spend this time.
But then,
Look at those monsters!
we go alone. Signal for the helicopter, which remains conveniently off screen. You have to admire the consistency. Oh no! Tyrant! With little time remaining, a rocket launcher falls from the heavens. Look at this stupid thing. What do you mean it's real? And in what would go on to be the series tradition, we finish off the final boss by blowing it up. We all board the helicopter. One limp explosion later,
I don't think he's coming back.
and we see the knackered survivors and, oh, for God's sake, she's 18, not 8. Roll credits.